actually have a network of MPAs all along our California.
Very good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Oracle's Customer Spotlight Series. My name is Dave Profizich. I'm delighted to be your host for this event. My role at Oracle is to lead Oracle's strategic go-to-market to embrace SaaS providers. We call them ISVs. I lead our ISV ecosystem strategy. One of my absolute favorite partners in that context is Zoom. And Zoom, of course, needs very little introduction, no introduction. Zoom is ubiquitous. It's a noun, it's a verb, it's a gerund. It's invaded our personal lives very successfully, our professional lives. My in-laws, who are elderly, are now enthusiastic Zoom customers, and it's just made such a big difference. And I'm delighted to host today Brendan Idelson. Brendan is the Chief Technology Officer of Zoom, who's been very successful at a very complicated task. Zoom has scaled to more than 300 million users, and by the way, that's an April fact. And here we are a little later than April, so just incredible growth, torrid growth. Brendan, congratulations to you. I mean, you've been able to scale successfully. We are grateful that you've selected Oracle's cloud in the context of your scale. And so welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here today.
So Brendan, to kick things off, could you tell us a little bit about your career? So, what led you to embrace the role of Chief Technology Officer at Zoom?
Great question. Actually started in the video conference from a very young age, since my father was a professor of telecommunications and multimedia. So it's where I got my start with a passion for technology. And then in my career, explored different areas, constantly looking at how people can be connected around the globe. And then was lucky enough to join Zoom and move eventually into the role of CTO, which I'm in now.
How did you get into this field specifically?
It really was that inspiration from my father as a professor and being surrounded by it. I got access to technology at a very young age and just was enthralled at what was possible. And that got me going.
So thinking about the role that you play, I mean, what is the best part of your job? What do you enjoy the most?
I love seeing how folks are innovating with Zoom. And I love our ability to connect people on a global scale. And it just warms my heart every day hearing the stories of our users and what they're able to accomplish through our platform.
And then maybe you could share as well, like, what is the most difficult part of your job? What's the hardest, the toughest part of your role?
When I think about that, I always look at not hardest, but it's new challenges. And each day we're looking at up-leveling, and I'm constantly looking at how to go to that next level for myself, for the organization, for the product. And so that's what I look at every day in that area.
Now, when you think, Brendan, about video conferencing, I talked about how it's ubiquitous, of course, Zoom's success, but what does it mean to you? How do you define video conferencing, and how do you want it to be presented to the market?
For me, it's really global collaboration when I think about video conferencing. How do we connect people, which is so critical at these times?
Now, Brendan, I know it's hard to imagine that there is anyone on the planet who hasn't heard of Zoom, but if I had not ever heard of Zoom, how would you explain it to me?
Well, we bring teams together to get more done in a secure and frictionless video environment. Our ease, reliability, and innovative video-first unified communications platform provides video meetings, voice, webinars, and chat across desktops, phone, mobile devices, and conference room systems. I mean, the pandemic has completely upended the way people work, eat, and socialize, and we've taken an extreme responsibility to help keep people connected during this time, from business continuity to education to healthcare to family and friends.
Now, so many of our customers are dealing with massive transformations. I mean, COVID to a large extent has sped up many of those transformations. I think Zoom is the perfect model citizen for embracing the transformation, thriving during the transformation, and then growing monumentally. I mean, how did you handle that level of growth?
Definitely. And I mean, to put that growth in perspective, in December 2019, we had 10 million daily meeting participants. By the end of April, we peaked at more than 300 million daily meeting participants. So the growth and scale was quick. Not only are we seeing a massive growth in customers, but we're growing as a company, and with that, also scaling our systems and infrastructure. So we rely heavily on partners like Oracle to help us scale so quickly.
And I recognize, Brendan, that, as you suggested, you've handled the growth. There's been a lot of technical scale, but then there's also been business change and business transformation. Maybe talk a little bit, if you would, about how you've handled that combination of business scale as well as technical scale.
Well, we designed Zoom to scale, but really when we looked at it, we had three main requirements that we were focusing on. So first, scalability. I mean, the growth that we were seeing at this time was massive and quick. Second, we had to maintain performance. We need our systems to be able to handle all kinds of workloads, especially with all the different use cases. And then finally, reliability is critical. We need to be assured that our systems will be ready for our customers' mission critical usages.
So it strikes me, as you were embracing the scale requirement and the challenge to build out Zoom, that the market changed in a very substantial way. The business setting became different. Suddenly you were dealing with enterprises, consumers, all the above. How did you handle it?
Definitely. In March, we saw employees being sent home to work remotely, K-12 students being sent home to learn remotely, and numerous small businesses learning how to keep afloat. We knew we had a massive responsibility. We weren't just keeping large enterprises going, but we were helping keep the world connected in a way we never thought of. With the growth and all these use cases, we needed to boost our cloud capacity. And that's when we got in touch with the OCI team.
Do you mind sharing specifically, Brendan, how you're using Oracle Cloud Infrastructure at Zoom?
So we're using Oracle Cloud Infrastructure globally to support our customers' use of Zoom. Oracle's team was able to jump into action and help us scale quickly.
So it's no secret at Oracle that we love partnering with Zoom. Larry Ellison, Safra, our leadership talk often about this relationship very uniquely. Could you tell us a little bit about what your experience has been from a service perspective as you've interacted with the Oracle team?
Well, we're excited to be working with Oracle on this journey, from the CEO to the engineering teams. Oracle has worked with Zoom consistently and pivoted their offerings to support our workloads, as well as understood our future cloud needs.
So I'd like to ask you to reflect on your experience with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure in the context of results. What have been the most impactful, meaningful results you've experienced to date?
The big thing there is we were able to manage our global deployments with a very efficient DevOps team.
That makes a lot of sense. So how would you suggest then that your experience has changed and will change the way you engage with your customers?
So the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure was instrumental in helping us quickly scale and meet the needs of our new users. Oracle's second generation cloud infrastructure will help Zoom continue to deliver flawless service to its customer base, adapting to changing demand and lead the video communications industry.
I appreciate your kind comments, Brendan. And by the way, we don't take that for granted. I think we need to continue to earn your confidence in the context of flawless execution. So where do we go next? I mean, what happens next? How do you see the Oracle partnership working for Zoom going forward?
Well, Oracle is positioned to help with our continued expansion due to its network architecture, capacity, and data center locations.
Now, Oracle, as you know, we've architected Oracle Cloud Infrastructure in such a way that enables us to provide incredibly low prices for network and connectivity. And that's beautiful for enabling video streaming, video on demand, gaming. In some cases, our cost is 80% lower than our competition. Brendan, could you talk a little bit about what role, if any, the cost had of OCI in your selection process?
Certainly, Oracle's low egress costs were a factor in Zoom's adoption of OCI. We get great performance at lower costs as well as excellent service and support.
So Brendan, what would you say is the biggest lesson you've ever learned in your career?
It's a great question, and I think the biggest one there is focusing on root causes of items. There are so many items these days where a lot of folks want to jump to solutions, but being able to focus on that root cause is so instrumental on being able to understand an issue and move forward and do that in the most efficient way.
And what would you do differently given the chance?
So I wouldn't have changed a thing in my career. I feel very lucky in all of the opportunities that I've had. And it's been a wide range, and they've shaped the person that I am now to be in the position I am now. So just very grateful for all the opportunities that have led to this point.
Okay, so one more question. What advice would you have to the younger version of Brendan Idelson?
I think the advice that I give is to double click in on those passions, and don't be afraid to ask and pursue. That constant pursuit of the passions shines through and can be such a driving force for folks to achieve that next level and what they want to become.
Thank you so very much, Brendan. What a fantastic conversation. I appreciate your transparency and your personal share as well. Very cool. Hey, everyone, let's stay connected. I'd like to encourage all of you to stay in touch with us. Please send us an email at any time to customer spotlight series_us@oracle.com, and we'll do our best to make sure we stay connected with you. Would love to stay in touch. And then at the very end of this Zoom, on the subject of Zoom, I'd like to challenge each of you to fill out a single question survey, just one question. If you could just take a few seconds to respond, would be grateful. And then follow us at oracle.com/events for additional customer spotlight series events. Thanks so much for attending, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.